I mean, even before the event started, I felt privileged to be a part of the actual community because we went to that community center where the elder was speaking, and I really felt like he had a lot of knowledge to impart to people, especially like the youngsters that didn't understand the issue from the very beginning. He was talking about how the struggle had been during the 60s and 70s and how that permeated until now. So even before the panel was introduced, I had some idea of what we were really going to get into and how deep it was going to be. The thing that surprised me most about the whole experience was how diverse the panel was, you know what I mean? And how we emphasized, like, for everybody. Look, this ain't about hating nobody. It's about trying to discuss civil rights and human rights for people that aren't getting them from the government and from the local administration.
And I think you could see, like, we drew a crowd, you drew a crowd, just us bringing you out. We got to talk to some people where you normally probably want to reach out to because they wouldn't come around. There was a lot of people. There was about 400 people in the audience, and I think it's cool that you showed up. A lot of people at the university are disconnected. There's a lot of bullshit going on a block, 2 blocks away. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on those students who don't really, involve themselves or care to know what really is going on?
I mean, there are always going to be people like that who in some way, shape, or form, reject any sort of consciousness, any sort of revolutionary mentality. The problem is that, you can hate on those people all you want, but the reality is that they exist to provide an example for other people about what not to do, because eventually they don't realize how much it affects them and their community. They don't want to care about the immigrants. They don't want to do anything. They ignorantly think, oh, deport them all, until someone actually listens to you when you say deport them all, and then your local economy collapses, and you realize how dependent it is on that. And I think that's really the big problem. People don't understand how intertwined we are as a community. We are part of America. We were part of America before America existed as America. We'll be here after America ceases to exist. We're not going anywhere. This is our home. This is going to continue to be our home. And that's no disrespect to the founding principles of what this nation is supposed to be about. But it wasn't about that for us. And it's not about that for us right now. Unfortunately, I would love for... I see the concept of America like the concept of Christianity, like the concept of communism. It looks real good on paper, but when you apply it to people, it becomes a completely different agent, a completely different element. And the parameters change, and it's like, oh, well, some people are equal. Some people are more equal than others. And I feel like that's what we're dealing with right now. We have the upcoming anniversary of Brown versus Board of Education, where we're talking about separate but equal. They keep us separate and they keep us unequal. The indigenous community, the Native American community, the Latino so-called community. We're struggling just to get recognized as individuals who are a part of America. Whereas everybody else comes in and is like, oh yeah, just got off the boat, and all of a sudden you're an American. But they want us to sacrifice every little bit of our culture just to make them feel comfortable about having none of their own.
There's a lot of efforts being led, to kind of deal with this issue. You and I had kind of talked about this. For example, there's statewide marches being organized in every state, and I know that that's not the main part of our movement. It's not all of our movement. What do you suggest, people in the community start doing other than marches?
I always believe very much in economic divestment, saying, okay, what companies are supporting this politician? What companies are in business with this sheriff? What companies are in business with this congressman? Punish them. Punish them brutally. It's your job, it's your responsibility to be able to do that. You have to treat them harshly, because they're not people, they're a corporation. They're fucking an animal on paper, In order for them to understand where we stand, I think the reason we haven't been getting through to them is because we're not speaking their language. We're walking around, we're marching, they don't understand what we mean. All they understand is dollars and cents. They understand money. We're marching from point A to point B. We all came to the center of town. We all had to eat. We all spent money on gas to get there. If anything, we've boosted the local economy. If we take all our money out of the economy and we say, hey, we're not spending a fucking dollar in the center of Denver anymore until you fix this shit. Niggas be crying on our fucking doorstep. Please come back. I'm sorry for what I said. Yeah, say it again. Put it in right. I feel it's one of the best course of actions we can take.
It's true, because with the march, you get people to go wherever you want and spend those dollars. The more people you bring to any type of center, yeah, you're gonna boost the economy.
And if we do have a march, I think it's important for us to bring our own food. You know what I mean? To carpool, whatever we're gonna do. And I'm not against marches. I just think that they're only one small piece of something much larger. You know, we need to focus on independent media. We need to focus on organizing more student groups to deal with specific issues. You know, how y'all were dealing with just the immigration issue. You know, I think that there should be more groups deal with not just immigration, but immigration in one particular aspect of it. You know what I mean? Then to talk about job building, talk about getting our people to change their mentality about the direction that gangs are going, because they all started out as some revolutionary organization and then de-evolved into some cannibalistic misery. That's just the reality. Cool was that, you know, it was an honor to be there because y'all threw it together on some fucking, yo, when the fuck are we gonna do this? And I've been trying to get out here for a minute, but the timing never worked out. And he was like, yo, I'll do it. You know, give me like 5 days. We did it in 5 days. We had like 300-400 people there. You know?
That was a crazy organization.
We had some sorority models there and all that extra shit. You know? It was good. It was great to be there and to see not just Latino people, not just black people, but a lot of white people that came there with an open mind, saying, you know what, I'm a part of this. You know, I'm a part of this in a good way because I can help about it, and I'm a part of it in a negative way sometimes because if I don't do anything, then I lead as an example to everybody else not to do anything about it. You know? And I've always been somebody that opens their doors to people of all races to say, you know, you don't believe this, but it affects you too. You think it's just about us, it's about you too. You think they give a fuck about you anymore? They just see you as a dollar sign, as a number. I always believe that racism was created to hide classism, to avoid the fact that it really existed. You know, not that racism doesn't exist, but race doesn't exist. You know, if you go have sex with an Asian woman, or a black woman, or a white woman, you're gonna have a human child. If we were a different race, we wouldn't be able to do that. That's the point that I'm trying to make, that we only have a small phenotypic difference. The reality is people embraced that idea in order to justify slavery, to build a capital for capitalism. They had to convince us that we were less people because that's the only way they could do it within the confines of the Bible and within the confines of their own social system that they set up. They say, oh, you know what, something's wrong with these people. If they had just had the fucking courage here in America, they'd be like, no, we took the fucking Mexican lands because we fucking could. Or we know we took African people because we fucking could, not because they were less than human, because they were monkeys. Then after fucking slavery was over, then racism would have disappeared. It was the excuses they made for racism. Oh, these little South and Central American monkeys are less than people. All that shit that you had for years, backed up by the church, backed up by the Industrial Revolution, backed up by mercantilism and laissez-faire economics before it. That's what created this sort of idea that there's something less than these people. There's something wrong with them. So that's why after slavery disappeared, it was so easy to transition into racism to hide the fact that it didn't disappear, it just changed form. And that's what we deal with in Greeley. And I thought it was important to deal with it in that small place because it's a microcosm of a much larger issue, a global pandemic that isn't addressed. And if we can expose it in one small area and show it to the world right here, then we can apply the same means to anywhere else in the world.